it's your girl Missniecytv, and I'm here to do a review for Sistas Season 6, Episode 13. The episode picks up where left off, where Bio is telling Sabrina that he wants her to marry him. She's like, you gotta be joking. Ashton Kutcher gotta be around somewhere because you joking, right? He's like, no, I want you to come with me to my country and be one of my 9 wives. I'm like, 9? What? Sabrina tells Bio that she's not marrying him. He's like, you don't like me? She's like, I do like you, but I don't know you. That's why I'm not marrying you. He's like, well, since you don't want to marry me, I'm going to have your bail revoked. You're going to go back to jail. Sabrina's like, so? Been there, done that. He's like, really? She's like, Bio also tells Sabrina that he wants her to come back to his country so that she could be one of his 9 wives. Then he pretends to call his mother and tell his mother that Sabrina didn't agree to marry him. He said that his mother said that she was evil and ungrateful. Then Bio goes on to tell Sabrina that he finds it disgusting how Americans stereotype Africans and that this was actually a joke and he doesn't want to marry her. And he's not close-minded and he doesn't like Maurice because of the way he acts, not because of his sexuality. Then we see Andy outside of Karen's house and she's scared to go in there. That's when Danny pulls up. He says, it looks like you need a drink. And that's when Danny pulls out a shot out of her purse. And Andy's like, you stealing drinks from your job again? Danny's like, you want one or not? And then that's when Sabrina pulls up. And Andy tells them, we gotta be nice, but I just want y'all to know that Karen's saying that Zach's the father. The girls are like, yeah, we know. Then Andy says, well, Aaron came by and he told me that he's the father and he saw the results. They're like, how does he know that? Then that's when Karen opened the door and she's like, so y'all gonna stand out here and talk about me? Or y'all gonna come in and talk? The girls go in and everybody sits down and Karen's really calm for a change. And everybody asks Karen how she doing and she's like, good. I actually set up an appointment with my doctor to see what's going on with me, to see why I'm so up and down with my moods. This girl says it's because of the baby and the way that Zach treated her when she was in the fire. Danny's like, yeah, girl, he was confused. And of course he says he loves you, because he does. He said that 1,000,000 times. But the love is different now, and he's definitely moved on. And I can tell you that firsthand. Danny's like, he gave you that money because he wanted to help you. Karen's like, he gave me that money because he knows that's his baby. And Andy's like, does he know that though? Karen's like, why you say that? She's like, Aaron came by and he said that he saw the results. And it says that he's the father. She also lets Karen know that Karen doesn't have Zach's DNA to prove that he's the father. And that's when Karen says Aaron was excluded from the DNA test. But I'm going to call him to make sure that he knows that this is not his baby. And Andy goes, well, could it be somebody else? Karen basically says, I'm not you. The girls switch subjects to Danny dating Preston now, and Andy is on a dating website, and Andy asks Danny how does she know, and Danny says, because I'm on there under a lot of different aliases. And I'm like, Danny, really? But my thing is, wasn't Sabrina supposed to tell everybody what happened with Maurice when they got to Karen's? Which didn't happen at all, and I'm trying to understand why. But Andy says she has to get ready for a date. Danny asks Andy, where's the date gonna be at? Andy says, at a bar on Juniper. Danny says, well, I'm coming with you. Andy goes, really? Why? Danny says, I'm supposed to meet a friend there, but I really don't want to go. But I'll come with you. Then that's when Sabrina says, I'll come too. Then Danny says, well, we could all go to your house and change and then go. Then that's when the girls decide to leave. Karen decides to call Aaron and let him know that she needs to talk to him. He's like, you don't even have to ask. I'll be right over. Down at the precinct, we see Q come in, and he's talking to the DA, and the DA is like, do you remember me? He's like, yeah, you're the one that gave me my deal. The DA says, well, the deal's off the table now because you lied. And I know that Maurice and Sabrina didn't have nothing to do with it because your co-conspirator said it was just y'all. And Maurice and Sabrina and Maurice had nothing to do with it. He was trying to sit there and convince this man that Sabrina and Maurice did. And the DA is not buying it. And he's like, why are you lying? Q is like, I'm not lying. I am telling you the truth. Then the DA says, well, the co-conspirators that were with you already signed deals, so you're going to be going to jail for a long time. Q's like, what? He's shocked because he can't believe that the people that did the robbery with him actually snitched. He's like, yeah, you're going to jail for a long time. And that's when the officers come in and arrest Q. Then after Q gets taken out the room, we see Logan talking to the DA, and he's like, you sure about this? The DA is like, yeah. Q is lying straight through his teeth. He's like, you really sure? The DA is like, yeah, I did you a favor. Logan says, you ain't doing me no favors. The DA says, actually, I did. Because if it weren't for me, you would be known for prosecuting 2 innocent people that had nothing to do with a crime. Logan's like, I was just doing my job. The DA is like, yeah, you did do your job, but you did a lousy one. Logan says, well, I just wanted to help. The DA says, yeah, you did help when you helped with those kids. And you did a great job at the airport. You did a great job with the human trafficking. But with this, you didn't do so. The DA tells Logan that he needs to apologize and drop the charges against Maurice and Sabrina because he was very wrong. Then we see Zach and Fatima in the car as they're headed to Heather's house to check on Michael. And Zach is like, baby, are you sure we should do this? Because I don't know how I'm going to react if I see something. Fatima's like, calm down. Zach is like, you should be the last person to tell me calm down because you be ready to shit up anybody and everything. Fatima's like, yeah, but I only do that if somebody bothers me first. Zach is like, well, what happened with Hayden? He's like, Fatima's like, speaking of Hayden, I actually hired this girl so that she could talk to him so that he could leave us alone. And you know what he did? He married her. Zach is like, how much can you know about a person in 2 weeks? Fatima's like, we're talking about Hayden. Zach is like, yeah, you're right. You could tell that Fatima feels bad about it. He's like, you have nothing to feel bad about. After all the stuff that you put us through, you shouldn't be feeling bad. Over at Billy Drake's, aka the steam plant, because it is the same exact place where Aaron and Zach fought. Andy meets the guy from the dating site, Jordan. And when Andy approaches him, she extends her hand so that he could shake it. He's like, I'm actually a hugger. Then they hug, and then they sit down. Then tells Andy that he's surprised that she's the same person from a picture because he's been catfished a few times. Andy's like, oh really? He's like, yeah. Then Andy asks him, so how many dates have you been on? He's like, this is actually my second. Andy says, well, this is my first. Over at the bar, Sabrina and Danny are talking, and that's when Tony approaches them, the guy that Danny met at the airport. And then Danny goes to introduce Sabrina to Tony. He's like, I already know you. Sabrina's like, how? Danny's like, because he be listening to my phone calls. Tony's like, you actually came? Danny's like, no, I came to support my friend. She's actually here on a date. Tony's like, who's your friend? Then he points over to Andy. He's like, well, she's in good hands. Danny's like, how can you say that? Tony said, because she's on a date with my friend Jordan. I actually had to make him come because he didn't want to come. Danny's like, oh, really? Tony's like, yeah, but she's in good hands. He's like, I'm actually here with my other friend, and that's when Rich walks up. And they start talking and have more conversation, and then the girls learn that Tony and Rich are both married and that they don't want to get married anymore because they've been there, done that. Danny's like, so let me guess, y'all out here thoughting y'all got multiple girls. Tony and Rich both say, no, we're just out here later. Tony says, well, let's get a table and we can talk more. Danny says, okay, just as long as it's close to Andy. Tony said, well, we can do that. I forgot to add that Tony offered to buy the girls drinks, and when Danny went to go say her drink order, Tony already knew it. I'm like, stalker much? There's not much talking loud that Danny does for you to know everything. Back over at Karen's, Aaron finally comes over from when Karen called him earlier. They sit down and they have a conversation. So she's like, thank you for coming. Aaron's like, of course. Karen's like, I don't think I can do this anymore. I really don't want to be with you anymore. Aaron's like, why not? Karen's like, I think it's just best for me to focus on me and the baby right now. Aaron's like, are you sure about that this time? Karen's like, yeah. Aaron's like, I'm sorry about the money, and if you need the money, I can give it to you. Karen's like, it's alright, I can get it. Aaron's like, you just don't want the money from me, do you? Karen blatantly says, no. Aaron says, well, I just want to be around to help take care of you and the baby. Karen's like, why? Aaron said, I love you and I want to start a family with you and I want to have a baby with you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Karen's like, well, this is not your baby. And Aaron's like, yes, it is, and I don't know why you keep saying it's not. Karen pulls out the envelope and she shows him the DNA test results that she has. And it says 99.9, not the father. Aaron's like, I don't know how this is possible because I saw the results and it says that I am the father. Karen's like, you saw it from somebody at the hospital? Aaron's like, no, I just saw them. Aaron said, I wanted to have a baby with you so bad that I saw the 99.9 and I just blocked everything else out. Karen's like, well, you're not the dad, so you don't have to be around. Aaron's like, well, I promised you that I would always be around, whether it was my baby or not. Karen's like, the baby is Zach's. And I'm like, girl, you can't say that because you don't even have his DNA. Aaron says, can I still come over and check on you from time to time? Karen said, yeah, when I'm ready for it to happen. Then Aaron says, this is not because of Jennifer at the salon, is it? Karen's like, no. Aaron's like, you sure? Because I would do anything for you. I love you so much. Karen's like, no, it's not about her. It's about me. And then Aaron tries to kiss her goodbye, and she declines the kiss. And Aaron's like, I'll always love you. And if you need me, you can call me. And I'm like, Karen actually stood her ground, but she doesn't like when the delusions are done to her, but she could be delusional to everybody else. Zach and Fatima finally pull up to Heather's house, and they're standing outside. The neighbor that's always in the window is outside, and she's talking to them. She's like, Heather's not here if you're here to see Michael. Zach is like, so he's in there alone? The neighbor is like, no, he's up there with one of Heather's boyfriends. Zach is like, the one from yesterday? The neighbor's like, no, it's a different one. And he goes by Bones. The neighbor does tell Zach that she has called child services, and they're supposed to be out tomorrow to send somebody to check the house. Zach is like, okay. And then the neighbor's like, who are y'all? Zach is like, well, I'm Michael's father. The neighbor's like, I know that. I'm talking about her. Zach is like, this is my wife. The neighbor's like, so you okay with him having another baby mama? I don't know if I could. Fatima's like, yeah. Zach's like, everybody makes mistakes. The neighbor's like, yeah, I know, you made a big one. And as they're talking, they hear screaming. The neighbor says, yeah, he's up there beating his behind. Then Zach takes off with full speed, runs up there, breaks Heather's door down, but before he does that, he pounds on the door. And the boyfriend comes to the door. He's like, who are you? Zach is like, I'm his daddy. Then Bones is like, get your broke behind, sorry behind out of here. Fatima's like, yeah, let's go. Then that's when Bones says, yeah, listen to your pretty behind babysitter. And then as Zach is turning around, Michael screams again. And then that's when Zach runs back in full speed, breaks down the door, and commences to beat Bones' behind. Till no tomorrow. Let me know what you guys think about the episode. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on your bell notifications. Bye.